Hey, this is Lisalee. Welcome to my channel. So today's pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at what makes you so beautiful to them. So we've got three groups here. These are bells. So I'm going to actually read the bell, read the bell. I'm going to ring the bell for each of them. So like those of you that are clairaudient, that might be helpful. So this is group number one. Okay, group number two. And group number three. Okay, timestamps are below. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, group number one, for those of you that chose this sound right here, I'm going to go ahead and speed up your shuffle. Okay, group number one, let's go ahead and look at this. So you're fascinating, actually. So with this card here, what I'm seeing, there's this cool, it was like a quote, and it was about Persephone, and it was like Persephone is both like the goddess of like flowers and spring and the queen of death. And when I'm looking at this card, I'm seeing like one of the things that is so lovable about you is that you're able to kind of epitomize like a very like large range of, so you're like you can be very multifaceted, and it's like it's not something that has you looking duplicit at all. It's just that you have so much going on, and you have this beautiful way of like alchemizing all of it, like the imaginal and the reality, like the mystic and the practical, like everything sort of like melds together within you, but not in a way that is like contrived. You're really willing to be like all of you, even if there's like contradictions involved there. With the starfish card and open to possibility and quit. Let me take a look at this. Well, with the starfish, I'm just seeing how beautiful. There's a softness about you. Let me just take a look at that. Such intricacy in what created you, because I'm looking here and I'm seeing like fractals and the thumbprint of God, in the sense that the most beautiful thing about you is you're able to really be at home with yourself and really embody yourself in a way that is not apologizing. And as a result, you've got this really strong core that has like a kaleidoscope sort of quality to it when you look at it. But there's like, around you so soft, like super feathered. There's a fearlessness that other people sense in you that you don't really see in yourself. And there's something about that has like, it's like a vulnerable sort of a twist. Yeah, there's a real, like, there's a vulnerability that is just like so powerful. Like, and I don't think it's anything that you, recognize. It's like your belly is showing, even though there's still like a level of like protective, very, very soft. Now with quit, you really don't waste your time. Like there's been like so many lessons to the, to the effect that if it's not serving you, you're not going to bother with it. Everything in the way of like, I'm obligated, I have to sacrifice, I have to do this, that, and the other for, in order to have worth or value. I have to meet this one's needs. I have to meet this one's expectations. What I'm seeing here with this is that you've really, I see that it's a path that you've come from, but you've gotten to a point with your boundaries and your ability to sort of like suss a situation out and figure out how you want to attend to it, where you very easily like know what to like flick away. It's like not going to be worth it. And you've been able to like make your energy something that you value, and you value it so much that it's like, it's easy for others to look at it and value it just as much as you do. With wings here, you're a butterfly. Let me take a look at this. Again, I can't stop looking at how soft. I feel like you're so soft, like soft to the touch, like soft to the like cozy. What's so lovable about you, and what is seen as so lovable about you is just how cozy, cuddly, soft, sweet, and also strong you are. And there's like a lightness of being, and there's like a spontaneity about you that's also super attractive here and beautiful. So with trickster, hierarch, and the observer, let me take a look at these together. You know, it's funny because what this is coming up is what's beautiful about you. And I think that this is what's beautiful about you when people get closer. There's a regal kind of a quality about you. There's almost a sense that you've been like a queen or a royalty in the last 15 lives because of the way that you hold yourself. You're not apologetic about like taking up space in any room. With the trickster here and the observer, people like that they can't get an immediate fix on you. Like one of the things that's lovable about you is that you are constantly evolving. Like that's the sort of kaleidoscope that I was seeing. Like you're always moving, especially with this over here as well. Like there's a sense in which like you don't like force yourself into like, this is who I am, this is what I think, this is my, you know, way in which like I want to be perceived. You're able to constantly be in flux, constantly be changing, growing, adapting. And so there's no fix on you, but there's also nothing like rigid about you. And people love that. They love that you can transform. They love that you're a great listener. You're like really very talented in the way of, let me just take a look at this. This is somebody who loves you so much. Somebody who's watching you. I want to get a couple cards on that just out of curiosity. You are so loved. And so when people, like, this is a card that really speaks to me of, like, to know you is to love you. To get close to you and to get to know you is to fall in love with you. There's not really, there's not knowing you and not being in love with you, but to know you is to fall in love with you. And there's definitely someone in your life, let me get a couple cards, who loves you so much. And I feel it. It's like this warm, marshmallowy, wow, that's incredible. So with the Seven of Swords here, you probably aren't really, like this is probably something new where this person isn't really willing to like reveal all. I don't want to say that they're like being dishonest or duplicitous, but there's something here with the Seven of Swords and the 10 of Coins, and basically what I'm seeing now. All right, well, this is good. I love to see that this is together. This is a person who wants to make a life with you, but they're not going to jump out and say it. It's one of these situations where it's like, we've only known each other for a little while, I'm not going to scare you kind of a thing. But with the Three of Swords and the Devil, this is also somebody who has enough of a relationship to heartbreak and enough of a history feeling very stuck and very confined to a circumstance that part of what they love about you so much is, they don't want to let you know that you kind of saved them. And that's understandable, actually. Like I'm feeling it, like I feel it like a heaviness all of a sudden with these cards. You're a healer. You're such a healer, and your presence is such a solve. And your ability to like see outside the box, to like constantly be brave about, being ever changing and ever evolving, to not need anyone to have a fix on you or to understand you in a certain way, to be able to stand in your strength and in your royalty. Like all of this is so alluring. And to this person in particular, healing and sort of freeing, liberating. It's like when you're able to stand in your authentic self and be in that space of being unapologetic, it's definitely permission that others see it and they're like, I can do that too. So this person has been very much like healed and released as a result of their encounter with you. And there's a sense in which they feel like, I'm not ready to say what I feel, but I'm feeling like, because I'm looking at the bottom of the deck again, and I'm not really willing to say just how much I feel for you, but I see you as being a foundation and being something that I make a home with. So that's for somebody. Now, with the Hermit, man, the Hermit came out twice. And what I'm seeing here in terms of like how this relates to how you are so lovable, again, there's this beautiful way in which you do not need to be understood. You do not need the, you know, the stage. You don't need the attention. You're very content. I'm really drawn to the water here. You're content to like dive into like the depths, right? And like there's this you know, depth meets depth. So when people encounter you, and to know you is to love you, and to come into that space of like, man, I know you, I love you, is also to really value the depths with which you are able to like very easily traverse, like depths of emotion. You're not really afraid of the dark in terms of your unconscious mind, and you're not really afraid of the darkness in others. And this is something that people really, really love about you. You touch people in ways that they've never been touched before. And you offer a light here. You know, you are so led by your soul. You're so led by your spiritual, like you're like a Mecca, you know, I don't know, that's a weird thing to come through, but it's almost like you're carrying something with you that is so refined and then is so pure that when people sort of orient towards it, they're like, this is a holy place. And this is something that they really, really love about you. And this comes from your flexibility and your ability to be like incredibly mystical and incredibly grounded at the same time. With the Five of Cups and, sorry, the Page of Cups, there's Five of Cups over here. With the Page of Cups and the High Priestess, every single time you speak, it is a gift to those around you. Every single time you share your heart, this is a gift of wisdom and insight. And so much of what you do is channeling. And it's not that you're necessarily channeling. You're channeling from your higher self. You have a really, really strong cord between you and your highest self. And every time you speak to someone, every time you kind of focus on them, you bring a level of enlightenment and wisdom that is just beautiful. And so this is something that is, you know, it's part of what makes you you and part of what makes you so beautiful. With the King of Pentacles and the, let's see, Ten of Cups. This is beautiful. You know, this isn't only like you are an incredibly abundant person. You are like, you have the ability to, and it's not only the ability, this is somebody who has created enough abundance in their life, enough of an ability to stand on their own, to create from this place of having more than enough within you to work with. You've accumulated tangible abundance, and in addition to that, you end up having this like Ten of Cups quality, which is, this is my emotional fulfillment. This person is not only fulfilled emotionally, but they're just fulfilling emotionally to be around. And it's something that people don't love you a little bit, they love you all 10 cups. And that's really coming back to like, to know you is to love you. And so to know you is to love you. And with this Ten of Cups, it's like they don't love you like a little bit. To know you is to love you all the way. With the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups here, though, so much of your depth comes from a place of having traversed a lot of hardship. And so there's this, you know, it's not just that you are abundant. It's not just that everything you say has just like this brilliance and this insight quality. It's not that you're malleable, that you have good boundaries, like, you know, the softness. There's all of these qualities, but what makes you so incredibly lovable is you can meet people where they are. You can meet people in, like, you know, the worst of their pain. You can meet them in their grieving. You're able to sort of sit with people and not necessarily get like swallowed into negativity or, you know, difficult sort of challenge or, you know, heartbreak, feelings of isolation, again, like grieving. Like, you're able to sit with people in those spaces. And, you know, it's a tremendous ability to hold space for people to have different types of emotions, because you're very secure with having a range of feelings yourself. And so when, you know, when you're with people, you allow them to have that range, and that's really beautiful. You're also incredibly soothing and calming, you know, like there's a way, like one of the most beautiful things about you is that your presence itself, like not even having to make a comment or a word, your presence itself like has a calming, soothing quality to it, where people sort of come into your orbit and there's just like this wonderful way in which like the chaos kind of like dies down and there's like a calm that comes in. With the Four of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords, this is an interesting message that's coming through because it's, you're not perfect. You know, like what? Like, how does that make me so beautiful? But what makes you beautiful is that there's so much of the vulnerability for you. And I see it over here and it's like a softening. It's like an inviting. It's like we can, like it makes you approachable. So there's this sense in which like you're part of what's so beautiful about you is like you have beautiful, I don't want to say beautiful flaws, but your flaws are, they're not even, it's not even that they're on display. You know, your tendency to feel like a little bit of insecurity, your tendency to, there's like a panic that comes over you or an anxiety that comes over you like very, very quickly related to feeling like, you know, things can be taken or that there's not enough. Being able to be open about this and being able to like have these feelings like openly without shame and like letting them pass quickly. People love that you are so emotionally transparent and you allow, and that they watch you allow yourself to have these like little breakdowns or to have these little moments of like, you know, just freaking out a little bit. And they watch you have these moments like in a way that it's like, it's about you. You're not making it about anybody else. And they pass quickly and you're not, and it's like, you don't have to be all high vibe, like all the time. You give yourself the space to feel whatever you're feeling. You move through it very quickly and you don't like have to portray yourself. You know, you don't have to present this illusion that there's just perfection and only perfection and nothing else is allowed. And so people love that you're able to sort of like be in these spaces because it invites them to like have like to hold their emotions, work through them, in a healthy way. You're super healthy about the way that you process the stuff that overwhelms you. And that's a beautiful quality. With the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Coins here, the Three of Pentacles, you're fun to work with. You take a balanced approach and you take a measured approach to the things that you do. You don't like jump into things like stupid at all. And for this reason, like you're, it's like, I hear the word like invaluable to work with because you inspire people around you to sort of get on board with whatever's going on, that whatever's inspiring you, what's inspiring you, you inspire other people with. And not only do you inspire other people with it, that inspiration leads to grounded action with you. And people really love that about you because it's a super rare quality. With the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Cups, you're not afraid to start over. You're not afraid of endings and beginnings. You're not afraid of putting a bunch of emotional investment into something and then saying like, okay, you know, this is what I've done. And now I'm going to see where like your relationship with your higher self, your relationship with the divine, your relationship with that which is greater than your greatest imagination sort of thing, gives you a lot of faith in terms of the way in which you can freely invest your emotions and not fear that there's going to be like a loss as a result of it. And it also sort of allows you to move through cycles of change within yourself that creates like expansion and growth and like wings. And none of this like ends up being something that hardens you. The things that you've had to walk away from, there's no bitterness in you. And I think that that's sort of one of the most beautiful characteristics about you. And with the Empress here, and this just fell, so I'm going to look at this. Like you know, you bring a lot of passion to any conversation or anything that you're interested in. Again, you don't hold back. There's a zero holding back policy related to the way in which you express, which is just epically beautiful. And with the Empress here, you are incredibly creative, and what you create like makes the world beautiful. You know, you create beauty within the world around you as an extension of the beauty that is you, and everything that you put yourself into because you are so beautiful ends up having that same abundant, you know, the quality that you have that is just, you bloom. You know, and you're not afraid of the vulnerability of being like an open flower. And this And this is a beauty that you put in, you imbue it into the things that you create, and you imbue it into the energy around you, into relationships. The ability to be strong in vulnerability is just breathtakingly beautiful. It's a breathtakingly beautiful quality. And your adaptability is also just gorgeous. And this is what they find so beautiful about you. And so group number 1, that is your reading. I hope that that was helpful, and I will see you again soon. Group number 2, for those of you that chose this bell right here, let's go ahead and start your shuffle. Okay, group number 2, let's dive in. So what does this person think is so beautiful about you? Everything. This is gorgeous. Like, the feeling off of this is like, it's almost intoxicating. Like, I almost kind of feel like I stepped into like a field of opium or something. So this person, what's so beautiful about you, like one of the things that they think is so beautiful about you is just your vibe is kind of intoxicating. With the bridge and heart, I see you creating, this is a person who, you know, there's a lot that's really beautiful about you, but one of the most beautiful qualities about you that this, and there's an energy that is like very strong, like that I'm feeling like has an orientation towards you. And this energy loves the fact that you are not, that you're from a great distance from one another. So what does that mean? So it could be culturally, it might just be the way that you think, and it could just be, I mean, there's a number of ways in which this could, like, this feeling sort of could come through, but this is like, you're from such a different world. And I love this about you. And it might be, I'm seeing almost here that there's like, especially because there's more color on this side than this side, you know, there's a sense in which this person might consider that like a negative thing, in the sense that they might think that where they're from is somehow like less colorful than where you are, or something to the extent of like, there's a little bit of an imbalance here, but what this person loves so much about you, and again, this might be you too, what this person loves so much about you is that you are from this other sort of, like, it's almost like this whole other world, that there is this bridge that is created. It's something that they appreciate and really, really value in you. Yeah. So, you know, so one of the things that makes you so beautiful is just that you are, like, you're almost ethereal, you're almost like otherworldly, and this person recognizes that and they love that about you, and you create this bridge for them, you know, that allows them to sort of like peek into this other world and sort of like encounter this energy, and they love that. They think that is beautiful about you. With the heart and the warrior, and the rainbow I'm drawn to, because there's a sense in which this person looks at you and thinks like, this is after the flood, you know. I'm seeing that like, it's like I'm seeing like a Noah's Ark sort of situation where the bird comes back with a little sprig that indicates that there's land somewhere, and Noah is like, oh, you know, like, this is good, this is a promise, this won't happen again. So there's a way in which this person looks at you and they think like, are you like my reward? Like, are you, like, this person has had like a real experience with things where they've had to sort of like be in survival mode for pretty much most of their existence. I'm feeling that pretty strong. And what they love about you is, it's almost like that moment of like, there is land, the flood is over, it's never going to happen again. Like, there's this beauty about you that is, that strikes this person like right to the deepest part of their heart as like a relief. They feel like a level of relief, like they feel a level of like homecoming within this connection. And with the heart here, they're able to sense your heart. And this is, and I see this as like being a thicket around your heart. You know, you have these great depths, you really do. And there's something so uniquely like incandescent about you, but there's a thicket sort of protecting your heart. And maybe it has always been there. Like a lot in the way out. It's almost like there's pricklies between you and the rest of the world that kind of keep you safe. And the pricklies aren't like bad qualities or anything, but there's a thicket that protects your heart that you have in place for any number of reasons. And this person sees right through, they're able to sort of just something about the way that they pick up on people and the way that they're able to see clearly. They're able to see your values so clearly, your depth, your, you know, like that incandescent quality. They're in love with your heart. That is what, you know, what do they find so beautiful about you? That your heart, that they're like smitten. The feeling of you is like, it's intoxicating. It's kind of what I picked up at first. With watch and wait and life is speeding up, you do have a quality of, let's put this, it's like you're chill and you're like, your vibe is all good. And you know, you have like almost like two modes, like chilling and like sprinting almost. I mean, that's kind of how I'm seeing it is, and they love this quality about you. Like when you're doing something, it's like all the way. When you're not doing something, like you're just like a very calm, like chill person. And when you are doing something, it's like you have like these two modes, and they love those two modes. They also like a way in which your emotions seem to like spike, which is kind of interesting. So, and this might be something that you consider kind of a bad quality, or that you would be fearful might be a bad quality. But even in like a direction of like agitation, this person senses like, you know, there's a way in which you like, I almost feel like an Aries kind of a vibe, like, or like just a little bit in the way of 0 to 100, but it's not like a negative thing. This person finds your reactivity to just be like very like clear and very transparent, and it makes them feel at ease, because it's almost like, I know where you're at. You're not, it's not like you're ever like just sitting there like brooding and like strategizing and figuring out how to like say a thing or do a thing. It's like you know, you're very much at home with yourself, and then boom, when something catches your attention, either an agitation or an inspiration or like something beautiful, like there's a way in which that like strength in your energy appeals to this person. They find it quite beautiful. You're not asking permission to feel anything, you just do, and they love that about you. They love the transparency that comes with, you know, your ups and downs. Like it's reliable, sort of. With the use your mind wisely and your independence, this person loves your brain. They love the feeling of you, your heart. They love what you represent. They love the differences, and they love your mind. They love the way you think. They like the way your mind works. Claim your independence here. Well, because you are an independent thinker. Yeah, it's very obvious. Even if you don't have to talk to you, even if you don't speak to you for like hours on end, even if you don't like get to the bottom of what it is you're thinking about, the way that you think about things, even little tiny snippets, is so, you come to these thoughts and you come to your conclusions, and you come to the way that you see the world from a very independent space. It's not really reactive. You know what you know what you think, and you have these thoughts and these feelings, and you're not apologizing for them. But also there's a quality to the way that you think. You know, even you might not be able to like pick up on this particularly because it's sort of subtle, but there's a quality to the way that you think that is, it's alluring. It's alluring, and there's something to admire about it. And it's something that like, you're not really apologetic and about like the way in which you come to conclusions and the conclusions that you have. And this person loves that about you. They love your confidence in the way that you think. Now, with awakening and trickster, let me just take a look at these. You are very wise, and this is something that is really beautiful about you. You have a funny, like, let me just look at this for a second and get this right, because this is interesting. You awaken something in the people around you, because there's something very like alive at your, like in your very essence, that, you know, even if you're in the atmosphere, there's a quality of like people around you sort of look up and go like, what is that? Who is that? Like, you have a real presence, and people come to attention. Like, you walk into a room, the attention goes to you. With trickster here, you aren't one to, it's not important for everybody to understand you. You don't need like everyone to understand you the way you want to be understood. And like, you know, there's no obsessive quality around that. you are willing to let there be aspects of you and things about you that are a mystery. In fact, you like that. It's a safe kind of a place for you. And this person values that. They think this is a beautiful quality. They think the way in which, and also your sense of humor, I have to say, they like what tickles you. That's a weird way of putting it, but they like when they feel that, like when they are able to like awaken a sort of like goofy, like playful part of you. Like this is something they love so much. They love the feeling of your laugh. They like your sense of humor, and they like the or like there's almost like a little bit of, it's like a little bit dry, you know, but it's beautiful. And that people, you don't like necessarily like need for people to have a lock on you, and you don't want people to. You want to exist in a little bit of ambiguity, and this is beautiful. You know, it has this mysterious quality where it's like, what is that mystery? And it's like, it's a beautiful mystery. It's like easy to sort of like let your your mind kind of like wander around in the mystery that is you, and like the beauty that is like thinking about the mystery that is you. So there's a little bit of mystery around you. This person loves that. They love like the exploring nature of where things are right now with you. With risk and connections, and I see this almost as like traveling. What is so beautiful about you here, you're not risk adverse when it comes to encountering new people. And when you encounter new people, the way that you encounter them is just like you bring this level of curiosity to the way that you attend to people that isn't self-protective and is open, and it allows people to sort of like open up and be not self-protective with you in the same way that it's like you're not coming in with a bunch of defense mechanisms, and so the person that you're encountering is like, oh, I can just put mine down, that's fine. And so you're able to you're an adventurer, you know, you're able to sort of explore things, and without like with a real curiosity and a real confidence. You're not afraid to be uprooted. It's not like you don't feel like you have to stay in one spot. You really do want to see like what's around, like what is it made of, like how do things work, and you're able to like pick up everything and like go to explore something. And this is something that they really admire about you. And they admire it about you in terms of like the way in which you orient towards people that you encounter as well, energies that you encounter. And so they think that it's really beautiful that you're like always kind of on a little bit of a quest, and not needing to, there's no clinging with you. And that's something that they find quite beautiful. And again, the way that you attend to connections with this curiosity and this disarming, like they love that. They think that's incredibly beautiful. It's incredibly strong. With the cosmos and quest, I love this. Let's take a look here. They think it's so beautiful that you have this relationship to the like bigger picture. Like it's such a wealth to offer, and it's such a wealth that people perceive in you, and your relationship to the bigger picture, like it's expansive, and it's very rare, actually. I'm seeing here it's incredibly rare that you would be able to be in this space like with and be able to like again hold this bigger picture, and also at the same time like be able to relate to the small, like intricate, delicate, beautiful things. It's like to the large and the small, you have an equal appreciation, an equal grasp, and an equal accessibility. And this is breathtakingly beautiful about you. That your range is breathtakingly beautiful about you. That you're always looking and learning, and you don't necessarily. I'm hearing like I don't become the rock, you know, and what does that even mean? So I'm seeing somebody, I don't know where this is a scene from or like what this is from, but it's like a mermaid who's like hiding from a shark, and like hiding for so long that the mermaid like becomes the rock that she's hiding under. This is very interesting imagery, but like what's showing me is that at no point do you just like sort of become the environment around you. You don't sort of like fade into things. You keep a level of like yourself intact. That's what this is showing me right here with the little And there's a lot of like your alchemy, like there's so much to you in terms of like the way that you traverse your life and the way in which you attend to your life story and the alchemy that you bring to anything that you encounter. You're very well preserved. The density and the quality of groundedness that is your soul, actually, you know, it's like you're very pure and you're very well preserved, and it lights the way for you and it lights the way for others, and it's beautiful. And this person finds that beautiful about you, that you don't have to be like, it's like you don't have to be seen. You're so incredibly felt. You are beautiful, like physically. You know, I see that on the bottom of the deck with the Queen of Wands. This person finds you very sexually like appealing, you know, and if it's not sexually, it's like you have this magnetism, this quality about you that's like quite exciting. They're very attracted to you, but more than like what you look like, you know, this mask is speaking to me like, you know, yes, what you look like is beautiful, but what people find really beautiful about you is that you don't need to look any way. Your beauty, like it announces itself, you know, and when it enters the room, like if you can have your eyes closed and still feel like the potency of like what is so beautiful about you. And that's one of the things that that is so resonant about your whole vibe, is that your beauty is not just skin deep. It's felt heavily. Now, with the Four of Wands and the Ace of Cups, what this person finds so beautiful about you is there's real soulmate quality here. You know, this is one of these situations where like you know, when you're talking to someone, they immediately feel like that you've known them for 100,000 years. I mean, there's just like this quality about the ease in which you relate to people around you, like from all different walks of life, that everyone feels a level of like, you know, you have this feeling of ease in social situations and in social encounters that makes people feel so comfortable that it's almost as if they've known you forever. And this person finds that really beautiful, that like they come into contact with your orbit and they're like, you're my soulmate. I feel like I've known you forever. Like, I'm not afraid of you. Like, that's something that's like coming very strong, is that, you know, people who normally would have their guard up, or normally would, you know, like people whose hearts are a little bit like tender to the touch, you know, you make people feel safe. You really do. And you make this person feel safe. And to them, this is like the most incredible soulmate quality that anybody could ever have. They also think that you are like, you are such a gift. And you're not only just a gift, like with the Ace of Cups here, this is like the ultimate gift of love from the divine. And so they're feeling very much like in this receptive position with the love that you offer them and the love that they're able to receive from you. It's an other earthly, like ethereal, angelic kind of a quality, and it's the love that you offer feels like it's from heaven, for lack of a better way of putting it. And so this person, you know, what do they find so beautiful about you is that you embody such a pure and powerful love, and that it even is something that they can receive by being like near you or in your presence. There's like a mystical sort of a vibe with it. Now, with the Ace of Pentacles and the Lovers here, I love this bird. And I love the way that she's holding this bird. One of the things that is so beautiful about you is that you have there's something about you that is so purposeful. There's such like a faded quality to your whole, like encountering you is just like this path is clear, it's grounded, there's an earthy quality to you, by the way, that is quite powerful. Like there's almost like a musk, you know, to your vibe that is really, really beautiful. And this person, it's like a drug for them. They get intoxicated by like the earthy musk that like grounds you and like the path that you are on. Like there's something really powerful about where you've come from and where you're going and how it's created you that has this person just wanting to like, you know, this card is usually about choices, but I'm seeing this card as like, this person is like, I want to go with you. You know, there's something so beautiful about you that the birds, like there's a fragile strength that they find really, really beautiful. And there's this, I'm hearing like, I want to follow you everywhere. I just want to go with you. I want to follow you. I want to be with you. The way that they're holding, you know, there's such a tender, gentle quality to the way that you attend to those that you care about. And they think this is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful about you. With Judgment here, this is kind of the resurrection card to me often. They see a way in which you've been resurrected, you know, and like, that's an interesting thing to come through, especially with this card. But let me just feel this for a second. It's like you prove something impossible. And part of like, yeah, because the wings are really speaking to me more. There's a lot of bird imagery, lots of like flight. And so when I look at this and I see that, you know, what is so beautiful about you, aside from the fact that you've just the most angelic vibe I've ever felt, like just as a reader, like what's so beautiful about you? Oh, what's not beautiful about you? You've like transcended kind of like limitations, like your energy, your vibe, the way that you feel. It's like there's this transcendent quality. There's like this resurrected quality where it's almost like your mind is like rooted in the knowledge of like dark and light to such an extent where you're comfortable in both, and where you can manage both, and there's a grace about you in like this I've come out the other side kind of quality. And people and that also like your the way that you perceive things is like it's very sound as a result of your experience. With the Two of Wands and the Chariot, what does this person love about you? They want to go places with you. They want to travel with you, and they want to travel with you great distance, and they want to travel with you. I mean, what's so beautiful about you is that you inspire people to follow them. You know, your insights, your the way in which you like attend to people and things, and you know, your world, like you inspire almost like a following. And this person sees you as being like something that leads somewhere really, really valuable, you know, just exploring who you are and what you're about. This person sees that as being something that they're not going to be the same person they are after they met you. To meet you is to transform almost, you know, you don't meet you and encounter you and have a real relationship with you and not transform. And so to know you is to love you, but to know you is also to transform. You don't encounter people and leave them the same as when they first encountered you. You change people by way of their encounter with you. And this is so beautiful about you. And with the Emperor here, you know, this person finds your strength of character beautiful, find your wisdom beautiful. They find the way that you perceive the world around you quite beautiful, and the command that you have like over yourself and, you know, your domain is it's powerful, and that power is beautiful. And so pile number 2, this is what they find so beautiful about you, and I find this beautiful about you too. Like interacting with your energy is such a gift. So all right, pile number 2, that was your reading, and I hope that was helpful. I'll see you again soon. Okay, pile number 3, for those of you that chose the sound, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and speed up your shuffle. Okay, group number 3, let's take a look at this. So, wow. So the thing that is so remarkably beautiful about you, you know, interestingly enough, like I'm kind of surprised, is it seems like, you know, without you really realizing it, you are incredibly powerful. And so one of the things that this person finds so beautiful about you is how generous you are with your thoughts, your love, your attention. You seem to, you know, like you're not judgmental, and you aren't afraid to sort of like be vulnerable in the way that you offer things and the way that you give to people. And so there's this really beautiful nature about you, this like incredible generosity of spirit. And you're not cheap with your generosity. It's like generosity of spirit is really what it's striking me as more than anything else. You're not cheap with your generosity of spirit, and you offer tangible help, you know, and it's not in like a way that exploits you, or there's just something so beautiful about the wealth that you have within your, you know, again, your character, your giftedness, like you and you're very generous with this, with the people around you, and it's beautiful. Also, you know, you're accepting. It's sort of this really like open quality about you, and there's this way in which your relationship to shadow and light, to accepting everything and rejecting nothing. Like that's really what this card like speaks about. There's a way in which, it's not saying like accept negative, horrible, no good things or anything like that. This is basically a worldview and a generosity of spirit that doesn't see status, doesn't see people in a way that is like transactional at all. So there's like none of that. And that you have, I'm seeing a diamond with all the facets, you know, like that you are so multifaceted and that you encompass so much, and that, you know, one of the things this person loves about you is it's kind of hard to sort of like figure it out a little bit. You know, there's a mystery about the way that you interact with the world around you. You have this tremendous enlightenment and this openness to all walks of life, really, and you're able to sort of like alchemize like the differences in a way that like actually makes levels of like, how do I put this? There's like no, what's that word, Spirit? It's like like there's a difference between like having so many different like character facets. Like it's almost like, how do I put this? Well, there's something coming through that I'm just kind of like trying to grasp. There's no like multiplicity, and I don't know what that word means. I'm going to look it up, but that's kind of the word that's coming through in you. But at the same time, there's such a wealth of everything. Like you embody contradictions in a way that makes them dance almost. And so like this is something that this person finds like very, very beautiful about you. Now with the Wanderer, you are a free spirit and you're extremely unique. And this person has never seen anything like you before. You know, I'm looking at this, it's like the land, and this is reminding me of like a passport stamp, and I'm, you know, with this expression, like, you know, you are like such a follow your curiosity, follow where your inner light leads you. Like you're well traveled within like the, you know, within your own like emotional landscape and that of others. And this person, and you're free, you know, like you're not like held by the experiences of sort of like being immersed in the energies of projects or things or people. You're free of it, but you carry the stamps of like what you have accumulated in your life by way of wisdom, knowledge, experience. And none of that has held you down. None of that has really put a net over you. You have a free spirit, and you're not afraid to explore new things at all. And this is such a beautiful quality about you. With the green man here, you have a natural relationship to, I want to say the earth, but you know what I'm basically seeing is, in the same way that you encounter people and you don't even see status, you know, you encounter people and you have a generosity of spirit and there's nothing transactional about you, and that's a really beautiful quality. You know, having explored and like, you know, really applied yourself to things, you still have this like lightness of being where, you know, you're constantly free of spirit. I keep on hearing free spirit, free spirit, free spirit. And with the green man here, your connection to nature, and I want to say it's more than your connection to nature. It feels like your connection to the realms, you know, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's almost like you have a connection to the earth, you have a connection to the things on the earth and the things in the earth and the things in the air and the seen and the unseen. And there's just this incredible ecosystem that you have, like a ecosystem of like the entirety of the world around you that you have access to, that makes you really beautiful, because it's not Like, it's not like it's contrived. You know, you're not walking around like with, you know, 1,000 rituals and like and a t-shirt that's and like a costume that says like identify me this way. Here's all of my gifts. You know, you are interacting with all of the elements around you in such a natural, it's almost like an ancient quality. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's kind of breathtaking that you have this accessibility to the realms, and yet it's not, you're not like wearing a uniform to correspond to that. You're much bigger than, it's just like you have this incredible wealth of an ability to like reach things, places, and understand and like interact with. And yet there's like a humility about it. That's kind of what I was looking for. There's a real humility about it. With quit and friendship, and that humility is beautiful. It's gorgeous. With quit and friendship, you don't give up on people easy. And this is not something that's immediately obvious about you. You know, you have this ability to walk with people through things that maybe aren't that appealing, or like, you know, you're a guide in a lot of ways, and you're able to say to someone like, you know, this isn't serving you anymore, like come do this, or I'm not gonna, you know, give up on you and all of this, like let's do that. And you do so, and you maintain your sovereign quality. You know, it's not like you like dissipate under the pressure of helping others. You're able to be like fully present, fully strong, and also you don't give up on people. You don't sort of like shut the book on people and say, hey, the story's over. You're constantly like, look, no, there's a new page here. You know, let me show you, let me bring you. You know, this isn't the end of the story. There's a whole new story. Let's take a journey. Let's see where this leads us. Let's follow the light of the moon. So you have this optimism and this openness and this, you know, kind of like belief. I would say is even like a faith that is it's breathtakingly beautiful. You do not leave people to languish. And you do so in such a way that it's not like some kind of sacrificial, like draining operation. You do it in a way that's like, hey, friend, like, you know, I want to show you something more than you're seeing. I want to bring you somewhere that I think you would like. You know, it's really beautiful, the openness that you share your perspective. And there's a real balance here with you in terms of like your ability to sort of like stay or sit on a space that other people would be like, well, I guess, you know, like, you know, where other people would sort of like throw up their hands and say, yeah, nothing I can do about this. I guess you're gonna have to figure it out by yourself. You know, what this person finds so beautiful about you is that that's just not your refrain. That's not what you like. You know, when someone is in a situation where there's a path to be forged, you're not like, well, I guess you're gonna figure it out. You're rather like, let's go look, let's explore this. So like your attitude and your orientation towards conflict, people, difficulties, challenge, it's like very soft, very smooth, and very comforting, and that's really lovable quality. With the dream the world into being, tend to the small things and watch your words. Your dreams seem to, you know, there's that double split or double slit experiment in physics where like the observation charts the course of the trajectory that the particle takes. And so what this is saying to me is that you are a dreamer. You are adaptable to your environment, and within that environment, you're always sort of looking for like, you know, a way to sort of accent or enhance any environment that you're in. You see things really clearly. People don't necessarily know what to do with you all the time because you don't fit neatly into a box. There's a real eccentric quality about you that you're not for every single person, but the people who see you and the people who see you clearly think you're exquisite in your ability to like take on any sort of like, you know, walk into a field of energy and then like shift it, you know, with this creative kind of how do I put this? You're not afraid to use your imagination. And by using your imagination, you're opening these doors that you don't even know that you're opening. And so there's a way in which you really do dream the world into being. And with tending to the small things, you're not like diluted in, like, I'm almost, how do I put this? It's kind of like there's this shaman quality to you, but it's almost like it's a nobody knows, right? There's just an eccentricity. My tongue today. Maybe communication might be. I'm seeing you as being a really good communicator, but there's a way in which words have been getting stuck lately. I'm just feeling that as it comes through for me. But with the tending to the small things, you notice the littlest things about people, and that help them understand themselves better. And so, you enter an environment, a field of energy, there's a creative way in which you view things. There's an eccentricity in the way in which you create that is quite unique, but you notice all the little things about all the little fluctuations, all the little things about other people. And while it may have developed out of a need to survive, you're able to point things out and make sense of them. And, you kind of help people with little knots of stuck places, and you're kind of help them tease it out. But by looking at these very specific little things, because you seem to have this incisive vision, this ability to see things really, really clearly. With Watch Your Words and the Parrot Spirit, your words are pretty magical. That's this is one of the things that's so beautiful about you is you start speaking and people kind of they watch your words. This isn't striking me you have to watch your words or you're careful with your words. No, when you're speaking, people are paying attention. There's something about your voice, and when I say your voice, I don't just mean a singing voice. I mean the resonance of your voice, that it's sort of captivating. So with the Ten of Swords and the Tower, I need to spend a moment with this, because this is an interesting kind of a twist. You're not, what do they love about you? Look at your ability to embrace this tower. The tower is falling, the foundation is falling apart, the lightning has struck. And so this almost speaks to me as your ability to hold space for chaos and be in complete and total peace. This is somebody who's sort of sleeping, while everything kind of explodes around them. And so one of the qualities about you that is so lovable is where most people would sort of be totally losing it, you're calm. You're calm, you're collected. There's a relationship between you and chaos where you don't feel like it's going to defeat you or swallow you. You don't have a relationship to the suffering of others or ways in which things have fallen apart or exploded that is contemptuous. It's you're not in any way trying to keep this up at all, keep the tower up, no matter what it takes. You don't have that quality. You're let it fall. I still love you. Let things fall. I still love you. And with the Ten of Swords, you are able to sort of your access to people who have, and not even access, it's your relationship to, your orientation to people who have suffered is pretty unique. Most of the time, either people can sort of corner the market on a type of suffering and they can attend to it, but not that kind of suffering. Or, people who have been through a lot of trauma, often their response to that is well, I'm going to keep you at arm's length because I don't want any of that need to sort of attach itself to me or anything like that. But you're different. You are, without being in any way dependent or having to meet people's needs, or there's no compulsive energy around it. You're not afraid of people's problems. You're not afraid of the world's problems. You're not swallowed whole by things. And you can look at something really gruesome and, for instance, Ten of Swords, you can look at a horrible death, for instance, or something in which, someone's life was really markedly, affected in a way that anyone would consider negative and take a little space, to the extent of I'm giving you space with this, but really they're taking space with this. You're not like that. You'll step right into the war zone with a calm and a collected and an open heart and not be affected by it at all, but in that space be able to be a strength for somebody else. And that's incredibly rare. Once every 100 years or something like that. This is something that, it doesn't mean that you don't get freaked out sometimes, that you don't have your moments, but you have a strength when it comes to disaster. Unfortunately, that's the way I would put it. That is not, it doesn't defeat you. And This is beautiful. This is a really beautiful quality. With Judgment here, the balanced way in which you view things is considered to be, you have such an old soul. And this is so completely like obvious, like whenever you're, you know, anyone's in conversation with you, you sort of like take in the world, and you're able to sort of like, again, like I'm seeing the bird and the wind underneath the wings, and like being able to glide, and like a lot of flexibility, and your perspective is expansive, and you see really, really clearly. And so one of the things that's so beautiful about you is like, you are such an old soul, and it takes like almost no time at all. Like, you know, whatever age you find yourself, like whatever age you are, you're still thousands of years old. Like people can pick up on that right away, like your perspective, and you bring such a wisdom. And so like, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful quality. With the Nine of Pentacles and the Emperor, you are a powerhouse. There's a beauty and an established and an independence and even an innocence that's coming through here. And there's a strength around being delicate that is here as well. You're physically beautiful. I mean, that's undeniable. And so people find you very physically beautiful. But beyond that, there's a quality to you that's like nectar. And so even though you stand in your strength and you are independent and you're not afraid to be alone, because it's not being alone, you know, like you're comfortable, you're at home within your body, you're comfortable in your environment, with your space, with the people around you, you're strong in who you are, and you're beautiful in that, and you're willing and able to be delicate in that abundance. And you're also, you're not a pushover, you know, no one's gonna like plow you down. You have a command and a dominion over your environment that you might not feel that way, because I'm seeing this as being like I'm seeing all these little things as being worries and like problems, and like, you know, you're managing this stuff, but it feels like there's a lot that's getting away from you, and you've only got like these like 6 things like under control. But this is actually seen as like, you're not giving yourself enough credit, right? So like, what you are able to influence and manage, you do so well. And what's, you know, beyond that, you're able to like just turn your back on it and let it exist in and of itself. All the time? No. Sometimes there are these moments when you kind of get sucked into this little, you know, like a little bit of panic, so much to do, right? But you're seen as somebody who, you know, one of the things that's so beautiful about you is that you do manage your environment really well. You do manage your relationships really well. You do manage your work really well. And this is quite stunning, actually, that you are able to be in such a place of independence and so true to yourself and have such a command over your exterior world. It's just seen as like a really beautiful characteristic, especially because you, again, this speaks to like you know, the way in which you're perceived as being very physically beautiful by those around you. You have a great balance, and you're not afraid to like explore spaces that take you away from things that, like, you're not married to all of your emotional attachments. Like, you can basically like put emotional investment in things and then not necessarily feel an attachment, you know. And emotional investment minus attachment is like a really powerful position, and why you're able to stand in the middle of a war zone with like the 10 of Swords or the Tower and still have like an accepting, loving, peaceful, and, you know, like being able to observe like from that distance place, but in a way that is really strong, really loving, really beautiful. With the Hermit and the 10 of Wands, let me take a look at this. You do carry a tremendous burden, and, you know, a lot of this and this is striking me as like burdens from the past that you carry with you. That's hard for you to put down, and you might sort of retreat a little bit. And what's so beautiful about you is like in this retreat, there is a wealth. I want to look at this a little bit more because it's right, you know, it's related to the heartbreak over here. So you aren't a person, you know, one of the reasons why you can be in this 10 of Swords and this Tower moment with like a level of peace and a level of stability is because you have been through it. And there's something here about a past that broke you and left you feeling broken and has you often retreating. But the magical land to which you retreat to is one of infinite depth, infinite diversity. And again, I like almost see somebody who, like, there's a shaman quality. So like, you know, but your soul, it illuminates so much in even the darkest of spaces. And it has a lot to do with what you've carried and like what you have. It's so strange but like there's a beauty in this process. You know, there's something really beautiful about the world that you have created to survive a situation that broke you. The world that you created as a coping mechanism is incredibly beautiful, and it has a lot of strength to it. With the Queen of Wands here and the Five of Wands, you're not afraid of conflict. So you have like, this is like alluring. You're physically beautiful. That's really obvious. And then you have a magnetism and like a kind of, you're attractive, and you're attractive on a level that is like, you want to like, how do I put this? Like, you're sexually appealing, right? Which, like, that's a little bit, but what I'm seeing here related to that is there's not like there's a softness about it, and there's a beauty about it. There's a serenity in what makes you attractive. But with the Five of Wands, you're really not afraid of conflict, because you're able to stand within your own power and look at somebody else's conflict, or look at a situation where there is conflict and say like, well, I don't like conflict. I don't really want to, you know, deal with that, but I'm not going to fawn. I'm very like strong on my, you know, with my sense of myself and my sense of things, and I'm not afraid of a fight. I can be fierce, and in that like ferocity, you know, there's something really beautiful about the way that you stand up for yourself and the way that you stand up for others. With the King of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Cups, you are so beautiful. People want to make a life with you because they know that there's something so magical. There's such a strong desire to be a part of your abundance, be a part of wherever you're going, be a part of whatever it is that you're creating. You're so clearly seen as somebody who has like a very important mission, goal, future. People know that you're going places, and they know that you're going places that, you know, are fulfilling, emotionally fulfilling. You are a happily ever after. You're a heavenly ever after, actually. And so this person and the, you know, people who really see your beauty, see that what's so beautiful about you is you are a happily ever after. And I'll say it again, I'm hearing you're a heavenly ever after. And so that is, it's almost like you tick off all the boxes in a way that is so authentic. And, you know, there's a level of eccentricity here, but it is balanced by such a strong character and such a strong, your constitution, like the strong constitution, the strong character, this way in which you defend yourself and others. And there's an expansive way in which you interact with the world, and you have a lot to offer, and people see that from 1,000 miles away, and it's really, really beautiful. And so group number 3, that is your reading. I hope that it was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.